So, what up, my peeps, operators, hitters, and libtards? Hope you're doing good today. Hope you're tracking an amazing day. Welcome back to the channel. Before we get into the lecture toot, we'll go ahead and say this. In my opinion, that a buck will get you a cup of coffee these days. In my opinion, these hitters are some of the most overlooked on the battlefield today. They do not get the rec that some other special forces, special operation, tactical units receive. And if you happen to get that excellent Pathfinder training in the United States Army, we definitely share a kinship with the CCT operators. So that being said, I just wanted that on record. Some of the military's most difficult missions are carried out by combat controllers, CCTs, specialists who operate in remote, often hostile areas. Acting as one-man team attachments to other special forces teams, let me say that again, to other special forces teams, operative word being other, these highly specialized airmen are trained in a wide range of skills, including scuba, parachuting, snowmobiling, as well as being Foxtrot Alpha Alpha certified air traffic controllers. And for you hitters that haven't been tracking and don't know your freaking alphabet, that would be FAA, Federal Aviation Authority certified air traffic controllers, in order to establish air control and provide combat support on missions all over Z globe. Combat controllers are an integral part of AFSOC, basically your Air Force Special Operations Command, the Air Force component of the United States Special Operations Command and of JSOC. Trained in underwater and maritime operations, freefall parachuting, and many other deployment methods, hence freefall parachuting, a little bit of halo. Controllers are often assigned individual or as a team to the Army Special Forces, Army Rangers, Navy SEALs, and Delta Force, the unit, the Ghost, to provide expert airfield seizure, airstrike control, and communication capabilities. And let's not forget, they can also call in a shit ton of indirect force. Hangle hell, as we know in the business. Tracking on. So to track really on where the birth of these hitters came from, you must first actually, and this is pretty cool, being an old Army dog myself, you must first actually track on the Army Pathfinders. The term a combat control team comes from World War II, where Allied troop carrier squadrons developed glider-borne teams called combat control teams, CCT. A combat control team consisted of one glider pilot and 4 enlisted technicians. They utilized a jeep and a trailer-mounted radio to pass critical information to aircraft. So the first time they were used was during Operation Varsity in 1945, when 2 teams with the 18th Airborne Corps infiltrated German lines. They established forward airfields where they supported and resupplied operations and provided airfield control. Again, 18th Airborne Corps, United States Army. Pathfinders, United States Army. But then you track to the year 1947, year of our Lord, when the U.S. Air Force became a separate service. Air Force Pathfinders were assigned to a provisional Pathfinder squadron. The Air Force looked for ways to get rid of Pathfinders, believing the electronic navigation aids could replace them, just like today. They always think they can replace the boots on the grounds, but they really know that the boots on the grounds and the recons in the hills, look, you got to have human eyes on target for 100%. And tracking on, basically the Pathfinder's role became increasingly neglected by the Air Force. During the Korean War, Pathfinders were only used in 3 main airdrops early in the war. Meanwhile, in DC, the Air Force and Army leadership were at odds about which service would have ownership over the Pathfinder mission. The DoD eventually sided, and that's Department of Defense for you guys that aren't quite as high speed as some of us, with the Air Force. The DoD decided with the Air Force having full control over all ATC, again, air traffic control duties. Despite this resolution, the Army never inactivated their Pathfinder units, which has subsequently become more specialized towards helicopters and the aviation field. Can I get a Team 158 Pathfinders. So after the DoD sided with the Air Force being chosen for the Pathfinder mission, they expected 6 teams of Pathfinders to be formed from Army to Air Force transfers, but only got 11. Could you imagine that? Like, you're in the Army, you're a freaking Pathfinder in the Army, you know, you transition to something called the Air Force, which is totally new, and then all of a sudden they want you to go from Army to Air Force, right? I wouldn't imagine that they would actually get, you know, too many volunteers. However, enough to form one team. So in 1953, the Pathfinder Squadron was discontinued in the Air Force, and the Pathfinder team was assigned to the 1st Aerial Port Squadron and officially designated a combat control team. So now you know where your CCTs originated from. So I just find that to be really interesting that, you know, one of the most overlooked, and possibly this could be why, one of the most overlooked, you know, special operators out there would be that of the CCT, which actually originated as the Army Pathfinders. So the Army and Air Force remained at odds regarding the Pathfinders and CCT roles. In August 1953, the 10th Group, that's right, the 10th Special Forces Group, refused to allow CCTs to join in their joint tactical missions held at Dobbins Air Force Base in Georgia. I've been to Dobbins many a time. As a result, the Tactical Air Command stopped all Army airlift missions until the Army allowed the CCTs to take part. Could you even imagine that? So the Army and the Air Force were actually having a war, if you will, over the Pathfinder CCT, right? So the 10th Group basically said, fuck off, man. You know what? We're not even going to allow CCTs to do any kind of training with us. And in retaliation, the Air Force is like, well, have fun trying to go on a fries mission or get some aviation lift training without us. Although the Army had their own Army pilots, as we all know, it's just, to me, it's just real funny that you're expecting a supply drop and, you know, that's coming from a fixed wing, and yeah, where is it? Yeah, well, maybe we should have let the CCTs join us after all, because after all, they're Army Pathfinders. That's what we know. So I believe it was because the field was still just so young and lacking in manpower from so few Army Pathfinders wanting to transfer over to the Air Force. So Air Force HQ decided they would start soliciting from the radio maintenance career field for more combat controllers. It was also stipulated that combat controllers would have to attend ATC school, basically air traffic control school, if they would be controlling aircraft from the ground. Because of their job, combat controllers had to have either an ATC or a radio maintenance background in addition to jump school to become a combat controller. This gave rise to the blousing of the trousers and wearing of the old cocker and wearing the paratrooper boots, a tradition that still exists to the present. The first time a combat controller team was utilized was during the 1958 Lebanon crisis to combat communist expansion and bolster the pro-Western Lebanese government. Tracking on further, in the Vietnam War, combat controllers helped assure mission safety and expedited airflow traffic during countless airlifts. Combat controllers also flew as forward air guides in support of indigenous forces in Laos and Cambodia. CCTs conducted covert forward air control for U.S. and Allied aircraft, performing interdiction missions against communist troops and supplies on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. Not to mention, in October '83, we had some CCTs jump with us into Grenada in Operation Urgent Fury. They were key to the opening the airway for the 1st and 2nd Battalion 75th Rangers in taking the unfinished airport. Let's not forget other clandestine type missions in Latin and South America. That's where I initially met my first CCT. These are truly operators. So with that being said, you obviously got to have some kind of education. As I've always preached, you got to have some kind of education. In my career, I only knew a handful of hitters that actually got their GED and actually made it into the pipeline to include finishing said pipeline and getting into a special operation warfare unit. You gotta have some smarts, people. I can't preach that enough. It's easy to say you want to be, but it's entirely another thing to pass your ASVABs and get your high enough where you can actually get into these special operation warfare units. With that being said, let's go ahead and track and see what you will be up against trying to track down the CCT lifestyle. First, you'll go to your Air Force BMT, Basic Military Training. That'll be 8 weeks at Lackland Air Force Base. Second will be the Special Warfare Prep Course. Again, 8 weeks, Lackland, and basically candidates will undergo intense strength and conditioning training. You'll be running, rucking, and swimming extensively. You get through that, 4 more weeks at Lackland, Special Warfare Assessment, and Selection Course. Kind of funny. That's only 4 weeks, you say. But when you're there, that it's 4 months. From there, 4 more weeks at Lackland, Special Warfare Pre-Dive Course. Basically, it's just as it's stated. Pre-dive prep candidates physically and mentally for the rigors of combat dive school. Then Panama City, 5 week Special Warfare Combat Dive Course. You get through that, you get to get your airborne fucking jump wings on and join the club. That's 3 weeks, Fort Benning. Once you get through all your Spec Ops preps, let me tell you, airborne school is seriously going to be a fucking joke to you. Just remember, don't get in no trouble. Military free fall course after that, basically Halo. That's going to be 3 weeks. You'll be in Yuma, Arizona for that. SEER training after that, 3 weeks, Fairchild Air Force Base. Then you go to your ATC, Air Traffic Control School. That's another 11 weeks. Combat Control Apprentice course, basically 8 weeks at Pope Army Airfield. Basically, CCTs are more than aircraft controllers. As duly explained in this history, they're battlefield airmen, also known as commando airmen, usually operating in the middle of a war zone. Then finally, 6 months you'll be spending at Herbert Field in Florida. The longest segment of the pipeline is also the most comprehensive, with advanced weapons demolition training, all-terrain vehicle operations, and that, again, is your special tactics training. Again, 6 months. So if you're thinking about it, Godspeed be with you. Other than that, just remember, these are some smart cookies. I don't know if you've been following me long enough. Obviously, you know I'm an aviation enthusiast. However, I've also tracked on FSX, little flight simulator game by Microcrap, right? Checking that, I tried to do some ATC on there, and let me tell you, it is a handful. You really got to know what the fuck you're doing. And you got to remember, that's with all the ATC technologies that you're going to have up in the tower, right? Combat controllers often, I would say more times than not, have really minimal technology to speak of. They don't have those cool screens with the little dots giving you this, giving you that. Those fucks got their bottles on trying to direct traffic from a dirt strip. So, with that being said, operators on your feet, let's get downrange. All right, hitters, as usual, I hope you really enjoyed that history. I put some effort into said history. So with that being said, let's just delve right in to today's uni. You know what to do. Hit that back as always, double tap RB, snipe the Y, and here we are. Head today, gender male, Mason, brown, facial hair today, none. I'm not going to hate you though if you fall out with the operator beard. However, get ready to be smoked if you have a stand too with higher ups. So facial hair today, I'm keeping it clean, squared away, brown, and facial details burned. And you know, as always, that's what? That's optional. Body details today, facial paint today, I'm going with the Soot B. I just really think it fits once our uniform is all squared up. I really think it tracks. Soot B face today. If you don't have it, just fall out with something similar. Right arm, of course, today, Santa Maria. Left arm, I'm just going to keep dog tags on. Close today, again, you know, some of you guys might not have this. I really hope you do. Go with the Cry Combat shirt too. And today, that's right, we're going to go ahead and throw some tiger stripes on. We're going to do the old Air Force digital tiger today, even though I'm pretty sure it's out phase. If it's not, someone drop the comment below. However, today, that's what we're going with. We're going with the Cry Combat shirt too. If you don't have that open, just throw on the simple Cry, whatever you do. 3130. Tracking on vest. Today, why wouldn't we? Again, remember, we're CCT. We do a lot of air traffic, right? A lot of call for fire missions. So, of course, we're going to have the drone pilot IBA on in the 534. Pants Commandos. Again, these are some tactical operators. Of course, they are authorized the Commando 3234 on that. Footwear, again, Commandos. What's the name of that movie? Throw it in the comments. All right, throw on the Commando. Black 1-6. Ghillie suit, obviously today, none. Driving on, accessories, eyewear. Today, I'm going with the ant goggles. Go ahead, throw those in the black. Facewear, today, I'm actually going with the tactical scarf. However, you and I both know it would be stowed in the ruck until we had boots on ground, right? We don't need anything flying up in our goddamn rotors. So, tactical scarf today, 934. Head day, panoramic. We're going to wear those bottles. I really like them. Put them in the 634. I can't tell you how much. I don't know if it's the same with everyone, but compared to the default night vis, right? I just feel like the panoramic just has that extra glow to it that really lights up the sky for me. So I really have come to like the night vision on some of the DLC items. So go with your panoramic. However, if you have the fast special bottles open, definitely equip those. My boy Bean had them on the other night. Really looked epic with this fit. So go ahead, have the fast special nods open. Go ahead and attach those on. Put those in the 634. Tracking on. Headsets today, we're going to be tracking on Charles. Equip those in the 1-6 black. Handwear, equip your Oakley pilots. Put them in the 2-5 black. However, as always, the Echelon gloves are authorized. But I'm going to go ahead and stick it with the Handwear Oakley pilots today. Backpacks, rucksacks, what? That's right. We're going to go ahead today and put the Disruptor backpack on. Again, CCT operators, their number one thing is pretty much, you know, airwaves, communicate. So with that, I feel like the Disruptor pack really fits this build today. So go ahead, throw that on in the 934. Brands, of course. Let's roll, my peeps. 1831. I love you all, fam. So with that, that's the uni today. I think it's popping like a madman. Okay, with that Disruptor pack, if you'd like, you can go ahead and lighten that up. I prefer the dark, though. I feel it blends in really nicely with the frame of the pack as well as the silhouettes of primary and secondary long guns. Speaking of weapons, you know the drill. It's that time again. Obviously, you're going to go with the M4. Again, no bells and whistles. Just go ahead, throw your body, the frame, and the black. Cool, let's hit these parts. Stock, bud stock, obviously 1-2. Scopes today, of course, we're going to go with the ACOG. Why wouldn't we? It's pretty much on the top rack of every operator out there that's worth their salt as far as the spectrum of a theater of combat. Wow, that sounded really tactful, huh? Anyways, yes, throw on the 4x ACOG. Can't miss with that 1-2 black. Trigger, full auto semi, obviously. Magazine, we want all the firepower we can. Remember, we will be out in front, usually, of the main forces. So, we need ammo. So, go ahead, large 50 today. Obviously, if you only have the standard, what? Make every motherfucking round hit a fucking target. Under barrel 203. Again, we need some firepower. It's 1- and 2-man teams usually out there. Need the firepower. If you're attached, that's going to be nothing but gravy to bring some more 40 Mike to the fight. Throw that in the gray. Rail, laser sight, of course, we're going to throw that in the gray as well. Long barrel today, we need to reach out and touch somebody, even though our secondary can definitely reach out and give dirt naps. So, however, today I feel like distance is the key. Visual distance, it's going to be the key in today's build of the combat controller. So go ahead, throw that in the gray. Muzzle, of course, compensator Victor 2. Look, we need a suppressor. We'll hit Roscoe on the hip. 1-2 black. There it is, my friends. That is the backbone of pretty much every freaking United States Spec Ops unit. Okay, for today's secondary, I usually give you guys choices. However, today, I really feel like, especially if we're going lone wolf out there on a fucking LARP, I just feel like the SR-25 is the go-to. I don't know if you guys, how much you guys have fired this or whatnot. However, I must say that this weapon, when you mention semi-automatic, this thing is as quick as an M4 as far as pulling that trigger and getting that round down the pipe. So with that being said, I really feel like the SR-25 is going to do us justice, and facts, by the way, they do carry this. Let's go ahead and dress this bad boy out again. Just go ahead and keep the frame silhouetted in black parts. Today we're going to go with the stock buttstock for the simple reason that if you equip the compensated like that, maybe if this was a primary and really our primary objective was to basically shit kick doors. However, you know, we got to focus, you know, recon, Lurser, right? We got to focus on that because the radio is actually our weapon, my friend. So with that being said, we're going to keep the stock on so that we can actually have some damage and handling to this bad boy. Scope today. Now I'm going to actually let you guys, this is preference. So, but if you don't equip the Tango 5 X-Ray India, and I don't know what to say because this is a sniper kind of recon loadout, right? So you need what? Number one rule, you need eyes on targets, right? Again, the radio in all practical purposes is our weapon. We do not want to engage with the enemy as a CCT operator. So with that being said, I want visual properties to exceed in my loadout. So that's what she said. No. So we will equip the T5 X-Ray India. I'm liking this scope. Throw that in the 1-2 black. Semi-auto only, obviously extended 20. Again, however much dope you can carry, you want to carry it today. Uno dos black. Foregrip, I'm going with the Victor 4. I suggest you do the same. It puts your stats exactly where you need them for a sniper, more of a sniper than a DMR weapon. 1-2 black. Rangefinder, again, just fits the build. 1-2 black. Barrel today, we're going to go ahead and equip the standard barrel. I mean, why would we even entertain the thought of a short barrel being pretty much a Lurser build today? So we'll put that in the 2-2 gray. Muzzle compensator Victor 4, of course. Again, if we get into a CQB situation where we need suppressed, 1, we have mission failure on our hands, and 2, we have the suppressor if we need it on our hip. 1-2 black. Carry on. Today's secondary SR-24 rifle, known as the Knight's Armaments SR-24 family of weapons. 7.62 by 51 millimeter semi-automatic medium sniper rifle. And I'm telling you guys, when they say semi-automatic, they definitely mean semi-automatic. Take this bad boy downrange, get used to the trigger, get used to the bolt action. Let's not get that confused. If you do have the M10, I don't have the M110. However, if you do have it, you can actually equip that if you see fit. Driving on. So handguns today. Now, you know that I usually have you equip the M9 Beretta. See? However, I know for facts and got great intel that the M18 handgun, which is actually a combat version of the Sig Sauer M17, is replacing the M9 Beretta if it hasn't already replaced it. So with that being said, we'll go ahead, equip the SIG today. Parts today, of course, extended 15. We got the rail cover today. We're going to keep it nice and clean. Barrel, standard barrel, put that in the gray, and then we'll go stock muzzle 1, 2, negativo. See? Now, I will say this about this firearm, besides it being probably the best sidearm in the world. The extended magazine looks so clean. And when you're wrapping around and getting in your CQB stance or your Taylor stance, freaking that pinky, my pinky just wraps around that in IRL just so nicely. With that being said, just a little factoid about Matrix Native. Drone today, again, if it's me, myself, and I, then I will equip the EMP as the CCT operator. Usually Larry, Mo, or Curly will have a medic equipped. And if they go down, I'm sorry, boys. It's Larry, Mo, and Curly. If you don't know who I'm talking about the Alpha India. The AI that we roll with when we go out with them. CCT operator, EMP, all the way. So today, I'm just actually going to keep it in the standard, but I was looking through some things, and I believe that the American Eagle would really fit the CCT Air Force operator. So today, American Eagle are the standard silk. Tag gear today for me, my 3 will be the frag grenade, mine, and C4. For today's build, as the CCT hitter, you are authorized to carry the 4th option of the flare gun, because we're going to click our fucking heels and pretend that we have it mounted on said LCE. So with that being said, I really hope you enjoyed today's history. I hope you learned something, because really, that's why I do this gig. I just want to spread knowledge a little bit about the military histories and let everyone out there know, all these fucking cream puffs and powder puffs, that, you know, being a military man is not such a bad fucking gig. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody has to do it. So with that being said, operators on your feet, go ahead, one time, snipe the like, snipe the sub. Don't forget, have an amazing day today. I hope yesterday was amazing. I hope tomorrow's amazing. I will catch you, operators, next video. That's how we roll. There it is. There it is, you fucking goddamn spanky. Fuck you.
Watch it, you just killed a civilian.
Hey, that was a good shot, man.
Weapons down, gentlemen. We're not trying to scare anybody here.
Pin him down. Pretty good rate of fire right there, boys. Stack them up. Keep going.
That was a civilian, jackass.
That was an insurgent, Sarge.